let's talk about divorce. Specifically my divorce. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariaagloriaa and I am here to help you become the woman of your dreams. I typically do that by reviewing makeup products, really expensive, really luxury items, really affordable and everything in between. I also spend my money so you don't have to. I pride myself in giving you like the most brutally honest reviews. And I also pride myself on really like uplifting women and to feel so unapologetically in love with yourself. I preach that here. I want women to just love themselves and to praise every single inch of you with every perfection and imperfection there is. And I've tried to film this video without exaggeration, guys. I've tried to film this video at least 10 times before. It's just a really hard subject because I praise so much positivity on my channel that I don't like to delve into the negative and I don't like to stay on the negative for long. But with saying that, you can appreciate the light, and I know this, you can appreciate the light and you can appreciate the good without paying the bad its respects and without honoring the bad either. You know, you can't have the light if you don't know what dark is. You wouldn't appreciate, you know, the light. Because I'm so in love with my life now, because I'm honest to God, and I mean this without exaggeration, because I love myself so much and because I adore the woman I'm becoming, and because I adore the woman that is sitting before you right now, because I have so much respect and so much grace and so much admiration for who I've become. I have to give credit where credit is due, and this woman was shaped during the hardest part of her life, which was her divorce, my divorce. I want to preface this video with, if you guys are expecting me to bash my ex, it's not gonna happen. If you guys are expecting like real hot gossip, nope, not gonna happen. It's just not who I am. And to be honest, guys, there's nobody to really crap on. My ex-husband is not a bad person. We are still co-parenting. He's still a part of my life, just like I'm part of his. We have a daughter together, and I will never disrespect him publicly or even privately. That's just not the person I am. I've grown from any pain, any hurt. I've forgiven, I've moved on, he's moved on. And I think that's the beauty of the ugly that we went through, is that now we're like, you know what? We just did not work out, and that's okay. I am gonna start this by saying, and I'm gonna say this lightly because I think divorce is very like, it's not a universal thing, it's not a universal theme, it's very much person to person. I did get married when I was really young and I was emotionally just very immature. I think that I was craving more of the freedom of getting married than actually getting married. Like, yes, I loved him, like, yes, I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him, and I never had a problem with commitment. That wasn't my issue. And if we're gonna be real about things, I loved being married. I loved waking up knowing that my husband, like, I found him. Like, people search their whole lives and wait around their whole lives to find like their husband and like their love. And I love that I already had that, and I loved being married, and I love the routine. What I mean by like I was immature and I just was kind of chasing my freedom is I grew up in a very strict household, and I was so ready in my mind to get out from under my parents' grasp and just live my life. And I did that. I chased my freedom by getting married, which is not freedom. And if you're getting married just to get out of your parents' house, that's the biggest red flag ever, guys. Just stay at your parents' house or move out on your own. Save up your money and do that. I wish I would have done that, although I have no regrets. Also, let me preface this video with that. That's kind of the situation I was in. And I got married when I was 18 years old, like a fresh 18, and we were just two very young kids. So yeah, I don't want to be like, don't get married if you're 18 years old and you feel like you found your person, guys, and you feel like you really know who you are. I'm never gonna stop that if you really feel like you found your person. Here's the thing, guys. I didn't feel that with my ex. I married him knowing he wasn't my best friend. And to be honest, I married him knowing I didn't really like him. Like, I loved him, but love is different than like, especially in romantic relationships. There was a bunch of things that in my mind, I knew I didn't like. I got in a marriage hoping he would change, which is 100% completely on me, which is disastrous, which is horribly unfair also to who he was, and just wrong. Like, just plain wrong. I so badly wanted him to be how I was, and I didn't realize it back then because I didn't even know who I really was in some senses. Like, I've always been a very self-aware person, but I also grew up in a house where like I didn't know what like being introverted was versus extroverted. I just knew I liked to be alone. I married somebody who was very social, loud parties. I didn't like drinking. Even when I was like in high school and I should have liked all those things, I didn't. I think that's one of the reasons why it just didn't really work out between us, because we were just so at the core of ourselves different. But we loved each other so much, and we ultimately did care for each other so much that we kind of saw past those things. But it got to the point where it became very toxic, and it became very apparent that we just were not romantically right for each other. A lot of other things also went wrong. I need this to be said, and I need this to be very clear. He's not a bad person at all. He never put hands on me. Yes, there was a lot of other things done. Yes, there were a lot of other things said. But because of that, guys, I stayed in a marriage far too long, because I had this preconceived notion that people only got divorced if he beat the shit out of you, if he was constantly just cheating on you. If I thought those were the grounds for divorce, until I finally was able to realize and really accept the fact that I did deserve more, and that me simply not being happy was enough. Me simply not wanting to come home to this person, like that should have been enough, and it never was, because I was always raised to think that you work through your problems and you try to shift and you morph until you're no longer who you were before the relationship, and you are constantly trying to change somebody who there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not a good match for you, which was another kicker I had. I didn't realize how at fault I was, and what a horrible person I was being to somebody who had no fault other than they were just being themselves. And I wanted to change that, and so selfishly. When it kind of morphed and hit me was when I finally accepted the fact that I was not happy. And me just wanting to be fully happy and fully excited to come home to somebody and like feel that love and feel that passion and feel that that's my person energy, that was enough. And because I'm not happy, I'm making you unhappy. And because you're unhappy, you're doing all these things that I really don't like and that shouldn't be allowed in a relationship. And because of that, I just didn't want to let go, because I'm also Capricorn and I was very stubborn, and I just wanted my perfect little family, because at this point I had my daughter. And as I aforementioned, I loved being married. I loved the idea that I already had like my person, and I knew in my heart this person's not my soulmate, this person's not my best friend, and I'm just not happy. Like, why isn't this enough? And I think if you take anything away from this video, is that if you're in a relationship like I was, where you know you're not happy and you know you're settling and you know you're just fighting because you're both two completely different people and you both think that one is going to change and one is going to give, get out, and get out now. And just know that you not being happy is enough. And that's the long and the short of it. I know that it might seem cheesy when I say, baby girl, it's crazy what you deserve, but I mean it, because I lived it, because I wanted somebody to just tell me that. And that's why I repeat it over and over to you guys, that it is crazy what you deserve to get out of this relationship that's not fulfilling you, and it's not fulfilling him, and it's honestly just destroying your daughter, because she's gonna grow up thinking that that's what love should be like, that that's what a marriage should be like. That was also another kicker, that I had to put myself in a position where I had to think of Autumn being in my situation and what I would have told her. And I would have told her exactly what I'm telling you guys. If you're just not happy, it's enough. And I remember knowing I wasn't in love anymore, and that I didn't like this person, that I cared about this person, but I didn't love this person anymore. And I think that was the most heart-shattering part. It's a bittersweet moment when you know you're done, because you're done. And then the mourning and the grieving begins. It's scary because it's what you know, and I'm a creature of habit. Change is just not necessarily something I'm excited about, and I even though I knew it was what I had to do, it was scary to get out of it, because it was going to change so much of what I knew. I had to end up moving back in with my parents, the house I so badly wanted to get out of. I was going through anxiety, was raising a kid. I had a lot of help. I had my mom, I had my sister, I had my family, I had my dad. I had the best help in the world, but I still had to make that decision for myself, to just allow myself to be happy, which was so difficult. I had the best friend, my best friend in the whole world helping me. And I think what was also like the hardest part about that was that I realized like my best friend was my person, and I couldn't allow myself to be with him because it it would have looked so wrong, you know? And I also stopped myself from being happy with him because it would have looked so wrong to people. And I just didn't allow myself to be happy, like, for the longest time. And I went through a lot. Those like 3 years of like separation and ultimately getting a divorce. I went through a lot because at that point my best friend had also left, and when I realized like my true feelings for him, he was dating somebody else. So I kind of went through like 3 heartbreaks at the same time. It was absolutely the hardest point of my life. I remember driving home from LA one day and the song Lazy Eye by the Silver Sun, I will never forget this. The song Lazy Eye by the Silver Sun Pickups came on and I listened to it and I cried for like 30 minutes straight because so much hit me at once. And I knew I was done, and I knew that a lot of pain was coming, but I was so ready to just get it over with, and I was so ready to just get through it. And I'm so happy I stayed so true to that. And I'm so happy I did move forward. I'm so happy I did choose myself, and I'm so happy I did choose my happiness. And I'm so happy that I was okay with being selfish for once in my life. And that decision changed everything. And because of that, I'm now dating my best friend. And now I can honestly say I'm with my person because I've experienced the dark. Again, not to paint my ex like this monster, because he's not, but because I experienced the dark, I can appreciate the light. Because I was with somebody who I didn't like, I can now say with so much emphasis, like, not only do I love Brandon and not only do I love the man that I'm with, but I like him. I like him so much. I just want to hang out with him. And I'm an introvert. Like, I recharge by myself. I always, 9 out of 10 times, would rather be by myself. But that one time, I choose to be with him because I like him. Like, I just like him. Like, he's so funny, even when he's not. He's the quietest soul. He's the most introverted man. But he's that peaceful silence I want to be around. He's that energy I want to, like, wrap myself in and know that I'm safe with somebody. He's just my person, and I appreciate him so much because I know the opposite. And that's why I live my life with so much gratitude. And even though my divorce and even though my marriage like was very hard, I'm grateful for it, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be as grateful for the person I am now. I wouldn't savor every second. You know, I'm so grateful to everything. Like, I'm so grateful for his ex, so grateful for her, because from the looks of it, it's made him appreciate me so much more. It's made him fall in love with me so much. If anything, it showed him that I was worth coming back for, that I was worth waiting for. There's a gift in everything. I'm a huge believer in that. It adds so much more sweetness to my life now because I have my family that I wanted so bad that I never fought against. We have 2 amazing kids. Like, yes, we have one that is biologically ours, and that's our baby, of course. But like, we have Autumn, who is so much ours too, who he reminds me daily and constantly that that's my baby. You know, like, just because I didn't birth her or make her, that's my daughter, that's my kid, and she's mine just as much as Jameson, and I will love her just as much as she was my first baby. Like, I watched her grow up. He's still so a part of her life. I have such a blessed life, and it wouldn't have been possible again if I didn't go through all that pain. If you're going through something similar, if you're going through a divorce and you think, oh my God, I'm not gonna survive this, you are. And I promise you, once you commit to you, to your happiness, the world opens up in the craziest ways. And yes, a lot of pain is coming your way, and yes, a lot of hurt is coming your way, but so much good is also coming your way. You just have to close that window to allow that door to open and to offer you every good thing that this universe has to offer. I went through that whole year, 2 years of like just pain and anxiety and hurt, and I've had since then years of good and good and good. My best friend came back, and I was so happy because I was like, I have my best friend, I don't care if we date or not. We started dating 2 months after. You know, he told me, you're the one, I've always wanted to be with you, I've been in love with you, like, thank you for finally giving me a chance. And that was the best decision of my life, is saying yes to him and letting go of like, well, what will people think? What will people say? I'm so happy I let all that go. We started dating. You know, my YouTube career kind of took off. His career took off. I got my own place with Autumn, which was something I always promised her, just a home for the 2 of us. After that, Brandon and I moved in together, and then we had our baby, and we bought a house. So many good things are happening. Like, it's pouring. And again, it's all because I allowed myself to be selfish and I allowed myself to just be happy. And it was hard, but it was worth it. And I would just want to remind you of that. Even though it does get really difficult, and even though it's a choice and it's a hard choice, your happiness is worth it. And baby girl, it is crazy what you deserve. And I mean that every time I say it. But in this video more than ever, I mean that.